See, he did go ugly, bad, good there.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
That's all right. It's a remix edition. We can go backwards.
Longtime fans of the show should be familiar with the lender formerly known as Sue Pullen, and I'm pleased to announce that she's back, fresh off a rebrand and ready to help as Sue Mackey. Sue is a certified mortgage advisor at Fairway Independent Mortgage, an equal housing lender who focuses on finding the right product for you and your needs. She has over 20 years of experience helping thousands of homeowners. Whether it's purchasing, refinancing, or even a reverse mortgage, Sue will help. Sue's licensed in 36 states now, so reach out and let Sue Mackey it happen for you. The best way to reach her is just give her a call at 520-977-7904 or in an email, spullen@fairwaymc.com. Fairway Independent Mortgage has an MLS number of 2289. Sue Mackey has an MLS number of 206048. That email again, spullen@fairwaymc.com, and that phone number is 520-977-7904. Shoot Sue an email and let her know she needs to update that address. Disclaimer time. This is where I tell everyone to lighten up. It's just a podcast. Trading is like that roller coaster at the amusement park. Thrilling, unpredictable, and potentially stomach-churning. What works for one person might leave another clutching their hat in the wind. Our hosts and guests, they're awesome, knowledgeable, full of insights, but we're not financial advisors. So don't rush to make any investment decisions based solely on our banter. Always consult with a professional or do your own research. Plus, let's face it, we like to have fun, laugh, enjoy the trading ride together. It's all in the name of good podcasting fun. So remember, take it easy, don't bet the farm, and keep your seatbelts on at all times. Thank you for listening. We're running whenever you're ready.
We're running?
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Hello, and welcome to the Band of Traders podcast. I'm Fleri, and with me today, as always, is Kyle, and Bear Goes Long. A couple of guys getting together here, as we usually do. We're going to kick it back remix style, if you didn't recognize that intro. It's from, kind of the older version. Speaking of older version, Kyle, I hear you're celebrating a big promotion this week. Somebody told me that you're segueing into a full-time meme trader and sniper, official Trump coin entrepreneur, if you will.
No. If I'm a Trump coin anything, it's bag holder.
Bag holder, that's
yes,
what it was. Investor.
Yeah. My scalp turned into a long-term hold really quickly.
Oh, man. I feel like that intro went a lot better when I sat in the first time, but anyways.
I think you still got it.
For not a script and throwing this together in 2 minutes, we'll call it. So anyways, you guys sit back, relax, and hang out with the boys from Vanta and Band of Traders. But before we do that, Kyle, do we have any show news?
Oh, wow. Man, just like rolls off the tongue, man. Where's Dan? I'm going to have to send him a message. Don't miss him.
I know, right?
Oh, Thursday episode coming out will be on Canadian economics. I got to sit down with Joel and Eric Mason, and Joel asked all the questions that he could think of. Tuesday, Cleo and I should be recording a mindfulness episode with our friend Sean Sawyer, too. He's over at Sound Performance Psychology. I think we got links in the show notes. You should be able to check out if you want to go see his Discord. I think we got... What have we got, Bear? Do you remember? Was it like a 50% off first 3 months or something like that?
Yeah. The discount for the first 3 months off the Sound Performance Psychology Discord.
Yeah, you're in that room too, aren't you?
Yeah, Cleo and I are both in there. Sean does 2 weekly sessions, group sessions every week talking about different subjects, and then also does a weekly meditation on Wednesday mornings.
How often does he choose somebody out?
That's not his style.
Okay.
Which is hard to believe after listening to the interviews, because he's so blunt in the interviews.
I know.
But actually, when we have these, they're very open conversations. He's very supportive. Because usually somebody in there, we're already calling ourselves out, going, "Oh man, I totally, blew it on this," and blah blah blah. And he's like, "Okay, well, let's reframe that and shift the conversation around and look at, what do we take away and how do we improve?"
So the reframes, man, Rich got me with such a good one last time I had him on.
Oh man, love Rich.
What about you, Fleri, man? What you got going on this week? Still doing hockey season?
A little bit, yeah. Hockey season's kind of grinding. Working on some stuff with my parents. My mom's been a little bit sick. Not a little bit, but she's sick.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah, so just kind of a busy week with some of that stuff, and it was a good week of trading until today, to be honest. And yeah, just kind of the same old, and just kind of keep trying to grind a few different areas at once. Hopefully play some poker tomorrow. We'll see how the schedule goes and how I feel after the ass kicking I took today, but we'll kind of reevaluate.
Sounds like we'll have to do some good, bad, and ugly at some point here, huh?
Yeah, that'll be a good bet. I mean, we're doing the remix, so.
Yeah, we're going back to the old format. You got to do that.
Trying to see if I could find the old news segment. I don't know if I have it on here or not.
Well, I mean, there is another kickoff here. So after we do we have any show news to report? I'm supposed to say something witty, such as, we've got some fiery topics for you guys tonight. We're going to hit you with the 1-2. Something like Kanye's Twitter tonight, if you've been taking notice of that. So without further ado, should we jump into market news?
Yeah, let's do it. So there'd be a song that would play right here if I could find it, which I don't know where it's at, but I'll stick it in.
I remember that. We had to wait for the song.
Posted it.
It's all coming back.
Dow drops deep on moving inflation, COVID frustration, war damnation. We're just bringing you the fucking news. You gotta recognize the game if you don't wanna lose. We're just two bulls trading information.
Yeah, we are.
Rioters raiding, insider trading, taxes are raising, bills on the hill. We got a crypto mill. No, they ain't growing weed. When the Fed speaks today, it's some shit we don't need.
Sing it, Dan.
Two bulls trading information.
What?
Two bulls trading information.
I'm inclined to agree.
Two bulls trading information.
That is accurate. Very accurate. What information?
So what was the final score in for NQ here down on the day? I walked away before lunch, and I was
Dude,
just
I
like,
should
all right.
have. I really should have.
Do we actually know what caused that sell-off or what sparked it?
I mean, a part of me wonders if it was the a little bit to do with the crypto sell-off potentially as well. But there was the merger news, which I think we'll maybe discuss, and then there was a massive hack
Bybit.
Bybit. Yeah,
hack.
$1.4 billion hacked from Bybit. And
Yeah, I saw that one.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like, I mean, it's funny. I posted it on Twitter last Thursday because we were pulling into the weekly high, or the previous weekly high on Thursday, and we hadn't done it until, like, for 3 weeks in a row. We did it on Friday and then sold off, gap down, run back up from Monday. So basically you could have just longed Monday since Trump took office and done well. But they kind of went back to it this week and got up there on Friday and then just dumped it. And it's just kind of like they switched that script up just one little week here. And this seems like the opening range is a good trade lately. Just stay short when we're below the opening range and stay long when we're above it. As stupid as that sounds and as simple as it is, or harder to execute, it just seems like...
Hey, keep it stupid simple.
You're going to do yourself a favor not trying to long below the opening range and short above it in this current environment. But
The best thing you could have done in this current environment was go back and listen to that lesson you gave us on gain lost, because those freaking levels have been playing like fire this week.
Yeah, the structure, especially like the hole type zones and previous lows and stuff like that, have been doing really well, which is part of the reason why I got a little whack today, is because they didn't do so well today. But anyways, final score 21,679. So yeah, what is that? A good 500 points from like just
more than
before
500,
pre-market. Yeah.
Yeah, because I said we're up in the 222s.
Yeah, we opened at like 170, 180 because I bought calls like right away, and those went to like 0 right away. But anyways, yeah, market news. What do you got?
I mean, I've got some stock specific stuff. I didn't really look at anything news related yet. Let's pull up the old browser and see what's on the history here.
Oh, yeah, going back and okay, this is going to age like a fine diaper. Yeah, the 222.40 was the pre-market high.
Jeez.
And then because we had that pre-market ramp about an hour and a half before the open, and then just waterfall like 15 minutes before the open, which I would blame SPX AM options.
Here's something about the Dow plunging 750 points as bad economic news piles up fast. So let's see what they're actually saying the issue is here. January home sales they're pointing to. United Health news of a Justice Department investigation.
For sure, had something to do with it. It seemed like that was a pretty good catalyst.
What is going on over there? Okay, so that's interesting. What happened there? UNH is under fire for its Medicare billing practices.
Oh, United Healthcare.
Yeah.
They're a pretty large component of the NASDAQ, so that could definitely push it down.
Oh, they're down 7%.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So they launched the DOJ launched a civil fraud investigation into how the company records diagnoses that led to extra payments for its Medicare Advantage plans. So they're scamming their people, is what it sounds like. Their customers, right? Am I reading that right?
Sounds like it. The market certainly felt that way. I've got a yellow line on my chart at 449, and they've been toying with it since like 2023. Wow, and they broke solidly below it.
What was the news that came out this morning? What was the one that came out after the open? Like it was 15 minutes
sales.
after. That was the home sales. How bad was that? Because there was a big reaction this morning. On that
I mean, it's like whatever the PMI flash and all that stuff comes out on Friday, but yeah, it just seemed like normally the Friday news you can kind of fade it, and it's not one I typically like close a position on or anything like that. And boy, today was not the day to, unless you were already short, but whatever.
I was. I was not short after that news hit. It was awesome.
Good for you. Okay, so market news. We've got United Healthcare Group scamming and puking, but along those scamming lines, the crypto market, man. Can we just lump this into the stock market conversation?
Just throw it all together. Might as well, yeah.
Right? I mean, okay, so two things. One, shout out to my buddy Rue, who's a great trader, a good dude, and he is just this is gonna sound bad, but he has just drugged me into the trenches, which is like the badge of honor of like trading meme coins is like you're in the trenches, right? Mm-hmm. He has drugged me deep in the trenches. I've been on SoulScan way more than I should ever be, like wallet tracking and looking at different codes. I got bots running snipes and all this stuff. I mean, this guy's ran me into the trenches. Nice. I love it. But it's been a wild like couple of weeks in the meme space. So like just to kind of like give a landscape, like obviously Trump launched his meme coin, and then Melania and whatever the whole like celebrity thing's been going on for a while. Yeah, Haktua. That's what I mean. Like the whole celebrity like rug pull thing's been going on for a while. And I wouldn't call Trump or Melania necessarily a rug pull, but it was sniped heavily, which means that people knew the coin was going to come out, and so they were able to like get access to like the first block where it comes in. Mm-hmm. And when they do that, they're able to get like basically the best pricing. And when they get that best pricing, now they're basically like an insider.
It's like an IPO almost kind of?
Yeah, it's like they're like sneaking into the IPO for free, which is wild that they get an opportunity to do that. But, again, like how do you find out that, they're launching a coin? These guys are just geniuses. So anyways, Trump and Melania coins, arguable whether they were like true rug pulls, and there's like, whatever, the tokenomics of it look better than some of the normal stuff in the celebrity coins. But you have that, and then now you've got Davey Day Trader, Portnoy, that right. Like just discovered meme coins, whether it was accidentally or intentionally or whatever is still kind of to be decided. But he's been playing in the space, and he figured out that he can just tweet a name and pre-buy it, and then he's basically selling it, and he believes what he's doing is legal.
Well, I mean, it is, because it's basically what those Atlas guys were doing, or whatever that other group was, and they got off because they were not directly selling to anybody. They're going through an exchange. I think that was the technicality that they.
And I think his technicality is like he was very vocal. Like he has a live stream some mornings. He's been on Twitter and basically said like, I'm only holding one coin. You can only count on me to not sell one coin, and that's this jail stool coin that he got into. He said, everything else I reserve the right to sell. And it got a little shady. So he's been pumping and dumping coins. Basically, like he'll put the Twitter or the on Twitter, he'll put the CA or the contract address out, and then he'll sell it. And he takes that money and he, quote unquote, in theory, pushes it into these other coins. But then he was kind of toying around with the idea of launching a coin. Well, he finally launched a coin. It was called Greed.
Greed, right.
So he launches this coin, and it goes, from pennies, like not even pennies, like millipennies to millions. And he goes on and he's posting about it, and he literally dumps it right after his live stream. Like he was on Twitter Spaces, he dumps it in one clip, and it goes from like 10 million to 1. Or like to 100,000, like in one clip. And the guy makes a couple $100,000, and he, like an hour later, launches Greed 2 and does the same thing. So, it's just like, yes.
Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, and now if you follow his Twitter, he's antagonizing people that like Greed 3 is coming. And he's like using the old Wall Street movie. Like he's got some things put together,
Gordon
like somebody
Gekko.
made a little video. Greed is good.
Greed is good.
Yeah, so listen, it's just been wild. Adam 22 or whatever that cuck dude, he put out a coin and rugged it.
So is anybody learning then to like to dump their holdings like before his live stream
well,
ends?
that's what's happened. I mean, like the market was, I wouldn't say buy and hold, but like you try to find a good coin and ride it up, 100x or whatever. Now it's like, dude, like 30 minutes to an hour is an eternity in this world. We were playing, it's funny, we were playing on the like Friday night poker. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. And
last week.
Was it last week? And I found a coin and I was like, all right, check it out. I'm going to buy this coin. I was walking a guy through it. I'm like, okay, now it's going to hit King of the Hill and it's going to bond. And then when it bonds, we got to be careful because it's going to push up and stuff. He's like, dude, this is insane. I just watched an entire bubble structure evolve and happen in like an hour. I'm like, dude, it's like this all day, every day. So anyways, the whole meme space is wild. Libra coin came out, which is the president of Argentina. He backed this coin, and apparently, again, like snipers and all this stuff. Like, there's been, hundreds of millions of dollars of extraction from this market, but it continues to go, and so it's just been this wild thing. And so, it's just, it culminates today with $1.4 billion getting hacked from Bybit, which, potentially had something to do with some of the market sell-off too. But, this meme space is, when they call it the trenches, they're not kidding.
What was the SEC case against Coinbase? Because I saw that got dropped this week too.
I don't know that I saw that.
I just saw that they dropped it. I don't know what the actual case was. Of operating in unregistered securities and exchange.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think they've continued to define that, like, these, whatever, collectibles, meme coins, whatever you want to call them, like, Doge is not a security. And they're just not, like, it's just, it's clearly not trying to be a monetary
it's not a
anything.
Currency.
They're not
right.
saying it has intrinsic value because it's going to do A, B, and C, right? Like, Meta,
right.
You have it's tied
There's
to
no
something,
product, yeah.
right? Yeah, it's literally just a collectible at this juncture, and so it's interesting. There, I think that's why a lot of these people are operating in this space, this Solana, meme coin, whatever space, is because they believe it's
some of them are supposed to be like tied to the projects, and the projects are supposed to be what like fuels. They're the rewards for people using whatever that project, right? Like, isn't that how crypto typically works? Like, you want people on your network, and so...
Yeah, certainly some. Yeah, there's definitely coins that have, functionality to them. But, there's also, dog shit coin and Elon Trump fart. And, it's just like...
But I guess, I don't know. Is there a difference between Ethereum and a meme coin is what I'm saying.
Oh,
or asking.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bear, what were you saying?
Yeah, and at what point are these just, NFT, the lazy man's version of NFTs is starting what these sound like.
Well, that's what a lot of people are equating them to now. Is like, if an NFT was a collectible, like that's kind of what they're coining, pun unintended. That's kind of what they're coining the meme market is like, these are collectibles. Like, you might as well just be buying, a 1 billionth share of a Pokemon card. And maybe that Pokemon card ends up being a Charizard, and maybe it just ends up being a, fucking Weedle or something. I just told myself I'm a Pokemon nerd.
I know, that's awesome. I actually just following that 100%.
Yeah, that made sense to you.
Yeah, all of it.
Perfect. And it's just like, and then you mix in like the fact that like, if you don't know about the blockchain and how these guys are bundling coins and sniping coins and what does it look like and how to track wallets, like, you're already at such a disadvantage. Plus 99.9 of these are going to zero anyway. So like, it's, you're really playing.
Take a Rue break here for a minute.
I loved watching him jump across the couch earlier. That was the best part.
You saw that? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
we got a guest in here today. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, dude, it's all good.
But anyways, it's just it's an interesting space, and I would argue that you're basically watching market cycles happen like instantaneously, and it's the equivalent of basically trading like penny stocks, pink sheets, like, with no rules, no regulations, nothing. Completely wild west. Yeah.
Yes.
So
one thing, I don't know if we're ready to talk about some maybe stock news, but I've been kind of following Intel. I don't know if you guys have been paying any attention to this whole semiconductor thing. JD Vance was talking about wanting to invest in infrastructure, and Intel's been like taking off ever since.
I haven't seen it. Sounds like a trade though.
I mean, Purdue is calling that one out since I think the beginning of the year. He's been talking about that one. I have some long dated calls on that, and that news came out like just the right time. It was kind of awesome. But just talking about the news itself, so it looks like what they're talking about doing is wanting to maybe even like split it up. There's two interested parties, it sounds like, in Intel. There's one that's interested in the chip manufacturing side, which is like TSM. Not really sure whether they're actually interested or not, or whether that's just Trump trying to get them interested by saying it publicly and hoping they do it. And then I can't remember the name of the other company, but they were interested in like their programmable semis, and God, I think it's their server sets.
Oh, FPGAs, and yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, they're talking about parting that thing off. They can get like $200 billion for this thing. And last I checked their market cap, I wanted to say it was like 160?
That's interesting. So that's like a classic. Go back to, we were just talking about Gordon Gekko. Kind of goes back to your classic Gordon but Gekko play of the company's worth more apart than it is together.
Right.
I mean, from a technology standpoint, Intel hasn't done anything innovative or interesting in more years than I can remember.
Well, I mean, but they always flip-flop with AMD. They're never, like, they always kind of go through cycles. And AMD's architecture, or not AMD, I'm sorry, Intel's architecture has always been better than AMD's, at least from what I have understood. Architecture-wise, they squeeze a lot more out of, like, the bigger chips. So
yeah, their starting basis, they got a handful of freaking super geniuses that really know their microarchitecture, but nothing really innovative, nothing that took the world by storm. They let Nvidia float away, and they could have been in that market.
Broadcom, Broadcom was the other one that was looking at them. Yeah.
So the making a comeback.
The Intel itself right now, I think, is 100 billion market cap. So yeah, the estimates that are floating around there are somewhere around 200 billion if they part this thing out and sell it like that. So, I mean, that'd be nice if that happened.
What? Not to flip the subject on you so quickly, but what's going on with Palantir? If that's how you pronounce it correctly, like, this thing is
AI and defense contract boosts. So
jeez,
with Hegseth and Doge,
with Musk talking about wanting to automate a lot of systems, I think Palantir was the one that looked to be the biggest beneficiary of that. But then now a bunch of contracts and stuff getting cut, people are starting to realize that Palantir is going to be hurting from that side of it too.
Yeah, so good and bad, but
yeah.
Man, I mean, that run
That one
blew out a
hurt.
ton of shorts, or I mean, geez.
That hurt to watch because I think I was sitting in calls on that. I think a ratio diagonal from like $17 a share and closed it out in like 30s.
It reminds me of the I was long Carvana from like the 30s or something ridiculous on like 6-month out calls or something stupid off of some like monthly trend break thing, and I was showing it to somebody and he's like, oh, this is what I would take. I'm like, all right, I'll jump in there too, thinking I'm a genius covering them for like 200 or 300%. The thing literally ran from wherever Carvana is. It's like a similar run. I mean, it's just like crazy, just straight up every day kind of thing.
That one was wild. I mean, I got in like right
going?
Intel, not at Palantir. I'm sorry. Going back to Intel. I got into Intel when it was like trading around 19. I think I bought like $16 deep in the money calls. No, it was trading around 22 at the time because I sold 22.5 calls. But it was like the day later I had to cover the short calls because it fucking run up another 15%, and my short calls are the same delta as my long calls. It made no sense to hold them anymore. I'm like, what? Like, why does this happen every time I get a good one? Like, man, why did I sell that short call? I should have waited a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sitting in 2 more of those, and I'm not touching those until it hits 30.
Well, we talked about some stocks, and then I was supposed to say, now let's talk about some crypto, but we did that. And on my script from the last time I hosted this show, it says, now it's time for a little segment we used to call the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, I do have one of these. Let me see. Does that work?
Oh!
Got that one.
There you go.
There's actually a song in here, too, I think.
History isn't just boring names and dates. It's weird, messy, and full of what were they thinking moments. The Buck Starts Here dives into the financial fiascos, questionable deals, and outright chaos that helped build America, $1 at a time. We mix in serious history from a fresh perspective, real, deep dives into the numbers and the moments that shaped the country, without the boring lecture. From presidential blunders to almost states, and the time an international war almost started over a pig, we break down the key events that made, and nearly broke, the nation. It's the fascinating, untold history you won't find in the textbooks. Subscribe to the Buck Starts Here podcast for a deeper look at presidential history that's anything but dull.
Longtime fans of the show should be familiar with the lender formerly known as Sue Pullen, and I'm pleased to announce that she's back, fresh off a rebrand and ready to help as Sue Mackey. Sue is a certified mortgage advisor at Fairway Independent Mortgage, an equal housing lender who focuses on finding the right product for you and your needs. She has over 20 years of experience helping thousands of homeowners. Whether it's purchasing, refinancing, or even a reverse mortgage, Sue will help. Sue's licensed in 36 states now, so reach out and let Sue Mackey it happen for you. The best way to reach her is just give her a call at 520-977-7904 or in an email, spullen@fairwaymc.com. Fairway Independent Mortgage has an MLS number of 2289. Sue Mackey has an MLS number of 206048. That email again, spullen@fairwaymc.com, and that phone number is 520-977-7904. Shoot Sue an email and let her know she needs to update that address. Is that a song? Hang on. Oh, that's the AI song we made. That's what that was.
Trading. We've learned the lessons of trend day fading. The days that hurt, the days that we need, as long as we don't blow out from greed.
Agreed.
What's bad
He's a
for you
bitch.
could be my good, 'cause I finally stopped buying like I knew I should. Big old wins, but then almost breaking. The good, the bad, the ugly of trading.
The throwback is so good. This is a remix. We should have done this a little better planned out, because this is a good episode. I like the remix idea.
We'll do this more often.
Yeah, this feels good. It feels good.
It
feels
does.
good to be back.
It's like an
here.
old glove, right?
Yeah.
Like an old glove that you... No, wait. That's...
it
It didn't fit. It didn't fit. All right. Who wants to kick us off with some good, bad, and ugly?
I mean, I'll go. All right, so good, bad, and ugly. Let's say good. I had a pretty good read. Like you were saying earlier, some of the main setups that I take were all really hitting well. They've actually been hitting pretty well for the last, I would call it week and a half, 2 weeks. But some really good like trend break, cool tech, whatever, gain loss based trades that have really held those like key hold levels, gave really good like smallish areas and zones to work. And the option strategy that I've been deploying to use those zones has been working really well. ES the other day, was it Wednesday? ES pulled into one of those zones. It's funny because NQ hit it too early, and then ES was like a little bit lower. And even the NQ trade that like was down like 25-30%, by the time ES hit its level and I bought those calls, they both just ripped. And ES went, outside a standard deviation move relatively quickly. So anyways, I would say the good has just been like a couple of the process trades that I specifically have just been trying to take every single one as a point, have done really well this week. And so that was that.
Awesome,
I'd say
dude.
the bad, just kind of a tough week as far as my schedule is just thrown off. Sunday night, I was supposed to pick my mom up from the airport. She was down in Mexico doing some bootleg stem cell thing for her PSP, and her flight. Literally, I left my house or was getting ready to leave my house, and it was like, it was supposed to be at 11:45, and I was like, oh, it got delayed. So it's like, all right, I'll hold off. 12:45, 1 o'clock, 1:15, 1:30. By the time I got my mom and my aunt in the car, it was probably 2:45. They live an hour away. By the time I got home, it was damn near 5 a.m.
That's brutal.
Yeah, and it just threw my, so I had to like throw some, some calls and stuff like that I had for some of the food service stuff around, and was tired, coming into the market. It just threw my whole week off. Honestly, like everything felt like I was like one day behind. All week. So obviously, always happy and grateful to be able to help family out and stuff like that. But man, I'll tell you what, something about like thinking you're going to the airport at 11:45 and then going at like 3 a.m, just the whole thing. So I'll call that the bad, just like a off week.
At least you got him home. That's all you can say, right?
Well, it's like one of those flights, I think, that it's like it goes from Minneapolis to San Diego. Minneapolis, it's like just does this, right? That plane just does that loop. And it got stuck in Minneapolis that day, and then, whatever. So it's just like it's delayed getting there, and then delayed because they couldn't come back. And the whole thing just kind of threw my week off, a little bit of an off week. Also got bad beat, so bad in this poker tournament on was it Monday?
Whoa, how bad? Overs?
It wasn't like terrible, but this young kid, the child of the sim GTO kid, ran up a big stack, and one of these OG guys from Minnesota that just does not care if you're studied like young internet punk. He just sat down and started eating this kid's lunch. And you could just see him go on full-blown tilt, and he blew, like, he had, like, 3 or 4x starting stack, and he was just dumping it back to the table, and I had no cards, and I was just waiting. I'm like, God, please just let me set this kid up.
Right.
And finally, he limps into my big blind. I flop 2 pair, and he has nothing, and he's just bombing into me. And he makes top pair on the turn. I have 9-8, turns the queen. And he just, I bet, because I'm like, oh, this is perfect card. I bet. He goes all in. I snap call him. He's basically drawing to 1 queen, and bink, hits it on the turn, or on the river. So I went from like about to be, relatively chip leading at my table and about to cruise in this tournament to, warming the car up, which is always frustrating. So we'll just lump that all into the bad.
Were you able to recoup any of that on pull tabs?
I did not play pull tabs. Snap just left. I was pretty tilted.
That must have been a bad one.
Yeah, I was pretty tilted. It's like you wait for your spot, and you wait for your spot, and you finally get it, and it's like...
It's not today.
It's like you wait for the perfect setup, and then like you take it, and you're like, wow, that just got blown out like in 2 seconds. So yeah, it just like generally like it felt like it was just an off week. So we're just going to say off week in the bad. And the ugly was definitely just today. It's funny because it was like a good, I would have even called this the good, but because it was one big long trade, it just goes into the ugly. But Thursday I shorted the open relatively early, had some key levels that were untested, much lower below, scaled into those, covered like maybe 30, 40 points from the low a day and flipped long less than 10 points from the low a day. And it ran off of this level and actually hit the level that I had to the tick. I was just waiting for a little bit of confirmation. So I was long, like, dude, down there. And it ran and I held it and like held the size through and scaled into the close and like held a position through settlement, which I don't do all often, held it through overnight. We had this push up into like the 7 a.m. and then it kind of started Central Time. So and then it kind of started selling off before the open, but it was pulling back into the support that they had gained kind of overnight. And my average is, hundreds of points lower. And I'm like, well, perfect opportunity. We're at 250 points from all time high. Here we go. Friday trend day. Let's push it. Let's blast all time high. This could be the one. I'm going to be giga sized. I'm going to bring my average up on huge size and try to ride an average that goes. And, I added and brought my average up and I added and brought my average up. And next thing you know, I'm in big size and my average is in my face and didn't make the best decisions short of that. So I took what was a really, really great trade and turned it into one of the biggest losses of the year, if not the biggest loss of the year. I'd have to go look, but it's pretty damn close. So yeah, the ugly is just, and honestly, probably just a little bit tied to ego of like how well yesterday went. I literally drew it out kind of like, I want to see this. I want to see it pull down into these levels. I want to get long from these levels. I wasn't even planning on shorting, but I liked it. And so it's just like something in my head about like, okay, I'm short from the open. I covered perfectly. I got long near the low a day. I held overnight. We ripped. And now we're pulling back into support. And I have this great opportunity to put size on with a well-protected average. And, instead of cutting it like I should have, I just kept adding. And, my average was still good, right? Like it was still okay. But it's like the trades today were bad today. But like the bigger scheme of things, it was okay. And then before it went from okay to like, what are you doing relatively quickly? Obviously we dumped pretty quickly today. So yeah, just got a little bit in my head on like, this is it. And it went from this is it to like, what are you doing? And just ended up having to puke something on too big a size. So
do you mind if as far as the whole week goes, is that ruin the whole week or did you at least
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely got a little stubborn. So, I've talked about this a lot. It's definitely one of my struggles is giving that stuff back. But like by the time we approached where my average was, it went bad so fast. It was just like, okay, puke this.
Yeah.
But it was just like there was a time where I was like, okay, well, we're still in profit, 24 hours, and our average is okay, and
right.
I'm in a lot of contracts, but it is what it is, and that changed so fast, and I just didn't react to it quick enough, and could have scaled the ads, and there's just so many things I could have done better today that was honestly just tied to ego and the fact that like, oh, well, I've got room to run, on this thing. And it was just like today's trade sucked, but like because I was up so much from yesterday, it was like rationalizing it in a way. Had it turned around and, taken out the open and done what I thought, I'd be telling a different story about how I was brave and brought my average up and it was well protected on this, LVN or blah, blah, blah. But that wasn't the case. And when it went clearly against me and it was obviously a trend day and we couldn't get back above VWAP and all the things that like I was watching and telling myself differently, that's why I'm just going to call it ugly. It's like the writing was on the wall. It was a 30-second no tick. They tested the OR. They rejected it. The bounce back to VWAP. Like it was just all the things. I'm like, I'm literally telling myself this is terrible. Yet buying calls and adding to the long. And it's just very out of process. Like, and also just like, by the grace of God, there go I like doing dumb shit, like watching myself do stupid stuff and just punted back a week.
It's almost like the first part of the trade was just too perfect. Like everything you did was
correct.
Perfect. And then you get to the first point where it's not perfect. And it's like, whoa, what happened? This isn't what I was expecting.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like a little upstuck too, like all of those things. What was? I mean, honestly, I don't remember where it was I bought, but I'm on Carvana. But I mean, it was like it was in there, man. I mean, I was like,
Well, I mean, even looking at the pattern, our friend Scalpert
Mm.
posted a great little meme late today, and it's like Monday, puke off the open, buy the dip, woohoo! Tuesday, puke off the open, buy the dip,
yeah,
celebrate.
yep.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Right.
Friday, puke off the open,
Right.
gotcha.
Well, and I've been commenting on it on Twitter. It's like it's the pattern that's been happening. It's the Friday sell off, Sunday gap down, Monday walk it all the way back.
Right, right.
Long Monday has just been a trade. Yeah, it was long 960 ish on Thursday, and we went whatever to 240.
Yep.
Man, that
Oh,
was a good trade.
beautiful.
Yeah, so anyways, ugly just turn something that was good into something that I got to sit with on the weekend. So I digress.
Bear, can you compete with that one? I don't know that I can.
No, well, wow, I don't even know how to follow that up, but
I know, right?
yeah, I've been chasing my ego for the last 2 weeks, and just
Saw you posting something about that on Twitter.
yeah, fortunately I have really tight risk controls on my accounts, and it's just like it's like almost every day I've been like, I try to go in and I'm relaxed, I'm doing my homework, I'm writing down my goals, I'm writing down my process, and then 3, 4, 7 minutes after the open, I'm like click, 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 and it's like boom, 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 and all of a sudden my computer's like 3 strikes, you're out. I'm like, what the fuck?
You-
Oh shit. Okay, tomorrow.
I feel like you're reading
Yeah.
my notes.
And,
So are you going ugly, bad, good? Or are you going to go in opposite order?
Right.
Or was this
Or is
the
this the good? I hope this is
I
good.
well, no, the good is that I have really good freaking risk controls,
Yeah,
and
okay,
and
okay.
I do appreciate, CR Charts has amazing risk controls, but they're really easy to override. Top Step, the X platform, for all of its many, many faults, which I won't disagree with, the risk controls have really been foundational. They've been a game changer for me, huge, because you cannot override them.
Mm.
And
I have not tested mine yet. That's good to know, though.
no, so they introduced a new feature last week before, somewhere in there, where you can actually go in during the close period even, and you can lock out your risk controls.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
They
can say set my risk limits and lock them out. Don't let me touch them for 24 hours.
so the TFD theirs has you can customize that too. So if you just want to lock yourself out for 15 minutes or for an hour, like you want to cool off for a little
Yeah,
bit, or I don't want to trade the
yeah.
open, let me lock myself out to keep myself from doing anything dumb.
Yeah, so now I've just gotten in the habit of, before we even do the afternoon open, I just go in my accounts, lock, 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 lock,
Hmm.
because I know what I don't want to do, and I know what I have a bad habit of doing. Um, and then insult to injury is then I'll walk away for a while, I'll cool off, and then I'll get the itch, and again let my ego step in and go, no, you're a good trader, you can do this. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'll get in a combine, and I'll turn around, I'll max the combine out, and it's like, okay, great, that didn't actually do anything for my pocketbook and didn't actually do anything for my ego, but I spent some money
Right.
for no point.
Right.
And then like even today, I was like, my practice account. Gosh, I've been trading my practice account amazingly well. Um, and then even today, I had some resting because I took the market buttons off of my platform,
Oh
so
yeah.
I don't have market buttons. I just have join bid, join ask, and I've been trying to really be good about picking my points, picking my spots. And I had a resting order up at like I want to say it was like 914 or something, because I was trying to chase it down, but I wasn't letting myself chase. And like 45 minutes later, it pops up, grabs my orders perfectly, manages to not hit my stop 7.5 points away, and then just poof, drops down 40 points. and and again, it's a practice account. It matters for absolutely nothing. But if I was trading that way in real, that was a $5,000 day.
Is
But-
that but is that a trade that you can consistently hit?
No, not that one.
Yeah.
But what I have gone into and really talked about more online is what I have a tendency to do is I'll put on a good trade. I'll actually follow my process in my practice account. I'll put on the trade. I'll set the targets, and then the trade is good. So I'll flip over to my real accounts and I'll try to replicate it, and I overmanage it. And I come back an hour later and I've made almost nothing in my real account because I overmanaged the trade. And in my practice account, which I ignored and I let the trade work out, boom, went to target, cashed out.
Dude, you just need to put the trade on and walk away. Like, you don't even need to be watching it, man. Put the trade on and go somewhere else.
Exactly. So there's some lessons in there, and
I've been struggling with that a lot lately. I keep hearing Fleri in my head: buy the ticket, take the ride. If I buy the ticket, I've taken the ride. It's going to do what it's going to do.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of distraction in my personal life. So honestly, I really should not be trading live capital or even funded accounts at right now. So the fact that I'm kicking myself out and locking myself out really quickly on small losses is kind of a win.
It's better than, if you're sizing down because you got stuff going on. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
See, he did go ugly, bad, good there.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
That's all right. It's a remix edition. We can go backwards.
So Bear, I think we kind of might have the same issue here. And it's the one I wrote down for today was that, like, the thing that I've been fighting with lately is that I don't have to take every trade, but I want to take every trade. Every opportunity that I see, every little wiggle that gets to a point that looks like a structure that I want to trade, like that looks like something I can capitalize on. Everything feels in the moment like this is the one that's going to make the day. This is going to be, they're never going to trade this spot again. And trying to be okay with not taking those low quality trades has been the thing that I've been struggling with lately. I'll go through periods where I'll do well 4 days in a row and I'll give it all back 2-3 days after that, just because it's low quality setups. One thing that has helped though, and I'm going to pull out the journal again and plug this one more time, is writing this stuff down on here. Mm-hmm. Even if I haven't been able to find a solution necessarily to what's been going on, I've at least identified there's a problem, because like I've noted here, like 5 days in a row I've had the same goal and I've failed at it. So obviously I got to try to do something different because this approach is not working.
Yeah.
So my good is that my journaling and everything else has actually allowed me to identify that my current approach is not getting me the results that I need. The bad is that it took me 5 or 6 days to kind of get to that point where I probably could have got there a lot quicker.
Yeah.
I don't know that I necessarily had any uglies this week. Maybe my trading on Monday wasn't all that great. Was it Monday?
It's always a good sign when there's no clear ugly.
It was all the week before, I think. Got it all out of the way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Monday. Monday was pretty bad. Monday, I just I let emotions kind of dictate things, and it's one of those things. Like, it's funny. You sit down, and you're like, okay, today I'm only going to take A+ setups, and then the first B, C setup falls along, and then next thing you know, you're clicking in, and then after that, like, everything's gone out the window, and you're wondering what the hell. Why am I clicking now? Like, there's nothing even happening, and I'm clicking the button. What just happened? You ever find yourself dealing with that? Am I alone here? Or?
No.
What do you do to snap yourself out of that?
No.
Walk away.
Yeah. And that's
seriously, I go do the dishes.
Me too. I thought I was
funny. I feel like I'm always putting away the dishes. Not necessarily doing. It's always the dishes that like, all right, I'll vacuum or go do the dishes.
Yeah, I'm the early to bed one, so and the market opens at 7:30 here, so 7 a.m., 7:45. I'm like, all right, I'll go over and do the dishes that everybody left for me last night. Thanks.
It is funny that you say the walk away. I've been finding myself walking away really quickly, like the past couple weeks. Like, if I'm not feeling it, I'm up and out.
I literally just go lay on the couch. I should have today. But whatever.
I actually I pull my green screen down. We're not recording because I got a couch behind me too, so that way I can do the same thing. So I can just go sit back and
nice.
the mouse is away. I don't have to.
And you can just kind of peek up and be like, "Am I interested? Nah, whatever.
Yeah.
Keep doing what I'm doing." But
I remember you talking about that in your humanity episode. Just saying, I'll just skip back to the couch.
Yeah, but you keep an eye on it and do something else, and I'll get the iPad out and just kind of whatever, you click over every once in a while, wait for the next level, right? Like wait for the next like trade that okay, this one didn't work, where's my next trade? And you wait for it to set up, and that's the key. Wait, patience.
I think the other thing too is I think I'm gonna go up another time frame for real. Like switching up to the 5 minute has been good. I think going up another time frame would probably help a lot.
30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour.
I even just put it on a 1 hour because you get into a trade and you stare at it on a 30-second chart. You're getting terrified, but you flip to a 5 minute and you're like, oh, hey, nothing's happening. Dude, whatever.
This crypto stuff, like the meme coins, you literally chart them on like a 1 second chart. It's just straight crash. Oh my God. It's just so bad. I mean, you're literally trading like 10,000 market cap stocks. But anyways.
I think we did an M period once with the 5 second chart, but yeah.
So a good old fashioned good, bad, and ugly. The next part of this is supposed to be the bet. Now, we don't have a bet to discuss that we had previously, but I mean, in the nature of the remix, should we make a bet and we can circle back to it?
Yeah, I mean, what do we want to bet on here?
Oh, wow.
I mean, in the spirit of meme coin conversation, do we make a bet on who's the next person to launch a multi-million-dollar market cap meme coin?
I like that. I like that.
All right.
Hang on. I need to do a little bit of research here. Wait, do you have a person in mind already?
I mean, Kanye's been teasing it a little bit, so
I've got one.
I would say that's a decent chance, but I mean, these political ones have been pretty fire too. But I'm gonna go. Okay, here's the long shot, because I won't take the layup. The layup is Kanye. Kanye probably does one in the next like 48 hours. But
it is the weekend.
Who's the gal who like had sex with like 1,000 people and now she's pregnant or whatever?
Oh,
she's like I don't even know her name. Whoever she is. That's
Heidi
like she's
Klum,
prime.
that one. Like,
I wish Heidi Klum had a video with 1,000 whatever. All
right, can I tell you?
My Google is now tainted. I know. Okay, go ahead.
All right, can I get a twofer? Is it okay if I go with like South Park creators, Matt Stone, Trey Parker?
Oh, I like that.
As a parody coin.
I like that.
I could see them doing it as making fun of everybody else.
God, that would be a layup.
Okay, I'm going Lily Phillips.
Lily, is that the name?
I think so. I don't know. I just Googled woman who had sex with 1,000 guys, and that's what came up.
I feel like you should have odds if that hits.
I'll take odds. I'll take like a 10 to 1.
You need an airdrop really on that one. They owe you an airdrop.
Dude, I love the South Park. Dude, that's a good one.
While Bear's thinking of his, I'm going to tell you Purdue's idea, which we're working on. We're trying to figure this out. But instead of fantasy football, we're going to do fantasy. Like build out a team, and we're going to draft out like CEOs, CTOs, CFOs, and I think the scoring will be based off of earnings statements. So every quarter you're basically scoring off of it. Yeah.
Fantasy like financials.
Fantasy Financial League.
Yeah. The FFL.
Yeah.
It.
Ooh.
All right, Bear, you got any?
No, so I was going to riff off of the earlier discussion, and that's just because crypto tends to get the most interesting, active, and volatile over the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, there's our missing celebrity. Why doesn't he have a coin?
No, it's going to be Zelensky.
Oh,
dang it! He needs to fund the war. It's going to be Zelensky.
The war coin. Yeah. The war coin. Fund the war.
All right, Barry, you can have that one.
No, I think that's the group. That's the group.
The group bet.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I've got the porn star. Kyle's got the Comedy Central stars.
South Park.
Oh gosh, I remember season 1 of South Park. Oh my gosh.
What was the name of the girl you said?
Is it
Lily?
I deleted the history of it. Lily Phillips or
Lily
Lacey
Phillips.
Phillips
Google
or something?
remembers.
Yeah, Lily Phillips. Yeah,
Lily
yeah, Google. Yeah.
And then what's yours,
Google
Bear?
remembers. It was The Weekend.
The
The
Weekend.
Weekend.
Oh, the band?
Wow. The
The
artist.
singer,
The
artist,
The Weeknd.
whatever. Yeah.
Who is that?
I don't
I
know.
don't know. He played on the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
He's
why?
got some hit songs. I don't know.
Why does that feel like a '70s group?
He is a little retro. Ladies and gentlemen,
Who's that?
The Weeknd.
The Weekend. All right.
Bruce Willis introduced him, and that's like a big meme. The Weeknd. Like everyone
I
does
mean,
it on
if
Friday,
you
yeah.
really, I mean, if you really wanted to go to, classic, classic show style, we should be taking over under bets on, where does NQ close out February?
All-time highs, baby.
Well, we can do that bet on our next read.
There you go.
Remix
Gary,
episode.
Do you have an outro on there that you can read?
It says end of episode. All right, folks. That brings us to the end of the episode. Thanks for stopping by the Band of Traders podcast. We're going to close up this show, but we'll be back with you soon. Until then, happy trades and stay profitable.
It works for me. All right, man.
Sounds good.
That was a fun show.
Oh, man.
Not bad,
that's
not
good.
bad.
Yeah, a little bit of a classic.
Yeah, throwback. All right. This podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute financial or investment advice and should not be construed as such. The hosts, guests, and contributors of this podcast are not licensed financial advisors, brokers, or professionals. Any trading or investment decisions made based on the content of this podcast are solely at the listener's discretion and risk. Trading and investing in financial markets carry inherent risks, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Listeners should conduct their own research and seek advice from qualified financial professionals before making any financial decisions. The views, opinions, and information shared in this podcast are those of the individual contributors and do not necessarily reflect the views or policies of the podcast creators or associated organizations. Produced by China Shop Productions.